What's good? It's Extreme Caution. Today I'm finna go over my official WWE Crown Jewel review. Finna go over every match on the card, what I thought at every single match, what I think will lead to after every single match. If you like daily wrestling content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, because I upload daily wrestling content. Overall, I thought this was a really fun, enjoyable show. Really an improvement over WrestlePalooza, because WrestlePalooza was just a complete failure of a show. They really showed out for this show. The Australian crowd was really great. Every match really was really good or either great. I really enjoyed this show. But let me know your overall thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. I'm finna jump straight into the review. The first match we're gonna start off with is Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in the Australian street fight. This match was really good. I think the shenanigans really made this match a lot better than what it was originally was. Because at first I thought it was just a decent match, but the interferences really made it a lot better. We end up getting interferences from Braun Breaker. He interferes, helps out Bronson. Then Bronson ends up doing a power bomb on the announce table. Then they try to get him back inside the ring for the pinfall, but then you get the Usos. They come out. They got the upper hand for a bit, but eventually Division got the upper hand again and take out the Usos. Then we get a moment where I think it was I think Roman gets back. He starts to get a bit of an advantage, and it was a table that got set up. Roman is getting the upper hand on Bronson because Braun Breaker ends up hitting a spear on Jimmy Uso. So Braun Breaker and Jimmy Uso are taken out. So it's Jay, Roman, and Bronson. Roman is getting the upper hand. Roman's getting the upper hand, but then Bronson ends up positioning Roman where he could I think Roman was behind Bronson Reed, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was like choking him out or something. Jey Uso goes for a spear on Bronson Reed, but he accidentally ends up spearing Roman. This eventually costs Roman the match. Braun Breaker gets back in the ring, spears Jey Uso. Then Bronson Reed ends up hitting a tsunami to pick the victory over Roman Reigns. I like what they did here. This was really good. This protected Roman and Bronson Reed because one of my main issues was if they was going to have Bronson Reed win, they need to have him look strong. This was a good way where he doesn't look weak beating Roman because it doesn't make it like Braun Breaker was the reason he won. It was like Jey Uso cost Roman the match, so it evens out. I like what they did there. Also, afterwards, we end up getting a little moment where Roman, Seth, and Jimmy are all talking, and Roman was basically telling them like, "I didn't need you guys here. I didn't want you guys here." And he ends up mentioning that this little trio can't work how it used to work because it only works one way. He ends up leaving all mad and frustrated, and then Jay ends up realizing. He ends up looking at Roman. He ends up seeing him leave. He ends up saying that he's out too because he ends up saying that Roman always does his own thing. No matter what, he's always doing him. So I'm going to do me and I'm just going to leave. And Jimmy was the only one left. I like what they did here. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means a heel turn, which I doubt, but I'm assuming this is going to get, of course, this is continuing the story of Jay going down that Roman Reigns path, of course, and Jimmy not liking it. I'm just interested to see where this goes because this could go in a lot of ways. You could have all three of them potentially turn heel again. You can have just Jay turn heel and Roman and Jimmy work together. You can really do whatever with this storyline, to be honest. There's multiple ways you could go with this direction, which I like. Overall, I thought this was a really fun, really enjoyable match. I really liked it. They made it a street fight. It made it way better than it originally was going to be honest with you. Definitely better than their Clash in Paris match. This was really fun, really enjoyable, and I really like what they did here. This was a really fun match. Now, what happens next, I'm not really sure. This is definitely going to lead to War Games, of course. The only thing is, I just don't know what would be the War Games match because there's plenty of people who could face Seth Rollins in this vision. You can easily throw in just the OG bloodline if you want to do that, or you can easily do like Roman, Cody, Punk, LA Knight. Like there's so many people who could be in the War Games match that it's actually kind of crazy the amount of babyface who could actually go against the Vision. So we'll see how this plays out, but this definitely building up towards War Games. We just don't know who's going to be in the War Games match, but that's definitely the next direction for these guys. Now we end up getting the first champion versus champion match, Crown Jewel Championship match between Stephanie McMahon and Tiffany Stratton. This match was really good match. Not gonna really go over that much because I don't think it was really that much to really go over in this match. It was good. It was a good match. Stephanie won. I don't really need to go that in depth. Now, the story they was telling in ring was really Stephanie being the more experienced person and the one studying Tiffany Stratton's move, while Tiffany Stratton is being the more inexperienced person and doesn't have as much film and things to look over on Stephanie Vaquer. That was the story they was playing. Stephanie Vaquer picked up the victory, which I like. I think it makes sense for her to win, especially with her being a new champion. So I think it makes sense for her to win, to make her feel like a credible champion. So I'm not really mad at the decision. Stephanie Vaquer picked up the victory. What's next for these women? I really don't know because I don't have much excitement for Tiffany Stratton, even though I like Tiffany Stratton, even though she should be a heel. But I like her. It's just that she just has no depth on SmackDown, so I don't really know what's next for her. Even if they bring Bianca Belair back, that still doesn't fix the issues because if you just bring Bianca back, all that does is the same issue. You just added one person. They need at least like 2 or 3 more people to add to that main event scene to make it feel somewhat credible. And then on Raw, again, Stephanie doesn't have any heels to face on Raw because all the top heels she could be facing are all busy. So I don't know what you even do with Stephanie Valkyrie, to be honest with you, because she don't have no opponents. She has nobody. Like, she, it's kind of weird because the women's world championship is perfectly set up for babyface, for a heel to be champion. So it's very weird how that works because she can't face Asuka. She's busy with the EO and Rhea Ripley thing, and that's not over. And then she can't face Becky Lynch. She's with the IC title, so it's like, who does she face at that point? It's like, what, where we're gonna start going to Roxanne Perez? It's like, I guess, but they're busy with Lyra. I don't know who she faced, to be honest. I don't know where this goes with Stephanie Valkyrie, but overall, it was a really banger match. Now we end up getting John Cena versus AJ Styles. This was easily the best match of the card. There's no match that even compares to this match. This match was perfect. This was everything it needed to be. This was amazing. I really love this. The amount of finishers they spammed in this match was absolutely wild, but this was one of the few examples where it actually worked. I really enjoyed this. The amount of paying homage to wrestlers that John Cena was doing. He ended up paying homage to The Miz, hitting his finisher, the skull crushing finale. He ended up hitting Rusev's submission finisher. He ended up hitting the walls of Jericho at one point. The amount of just paying homage to multiple wrestlers was really great. I really enjoyed this. He ended up, at one point, I think he ended up hitting the Sister Abigail, paying homage to Bray Wyatt. He ended up hitting the RKO and the Vintage Order, which I thought. But towards the end of the match, we ended up getting a moment where I think John Cena hitting a Tombstone. He ends up hitting a Tombstone power driver. Then he ends up hitting an AA to pick up the victory, and then they both just ends up, standing in the ring together, end up embracing each other, showing respect to each other. This was everything it needed to be. A really great expedition match that was just an absolute banger. This was everything it needs to be. What's next for these two wrestlers? I honestly don't know. AJ has been doing nothing ever since losing to Dominic Mysterio, so I don't know what you do with him. And John Cena, we're just waiting for his retirement match because every match he has from now to until then, it's not going to be a feud. So we're just waiting for that final opponent. I personally, if he's going to have a final opponent, the only final opponent that I really want to see is either Randy or Edge. If Edge is not coming back, which I don't think he is, it should be Randy. I get that we already seen the Randy Orton thing, but for me personally, I just don't see a world where someone will actually benefit from beating John Cena in his final match. The only person I kind of would be interested in is maybe Oba Femi and Dominic Mysterio. And it's not even because I want Dominic to win. No, if Dominic faced John Cena, he needs to lose. It's just that simple. Now, if Oba be on the main roster, then he could win as his first official match. But anyone else, doesn't make sense. Like, Gunther does not need it. He's already the guy that we already look at as world champ material. Him beating Cena ain't going to elevate him. Same thing with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker literally has the vision. He has Seth Rollins, who he's going to turn eventually. He could just beat Seth Rollins for the world title. So I was like, there's not many people, in my opinion, that really benefits from beating John Cena. So it's like, there's only 2 people or 3 people, 2 young stars that I would want to see. It's either Oba or Dominic Mysterio for Dominic to lose and get to lose the IC title. Or you could do Edge if he actually does return, which I don't think so, or Randy Orton. That's really it. But this was a really banger match. I really enjoyed this. Now we end up getting the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I thought this was a great tag match. I thought this was a great tag team match. Majority of the match, they was really just telling the story of just trying to prevent Rhea Ripley from getting the tag Rhea Ripley in. But towards the end of the match, it was a moment where Asuka was on the outside and Rhea Ripley was about to do a kick, a big boot, but Kyrie ends up taking the hit for Rhea Ripley that ended up costing the match. That's going to play a story on Raw where Asuka is going to blame Kyrie Sane because Kyrie was the one that was tagged, so she didn't really have to save Asuka, but she decided to save her. I'm assuming that's going to play a factor on Raw where Asuka ends up complaining about that, calling her an idiot, and then costing the match. So Rhea Ripley, Io Sky won, which I did expect. So what's next for them? I don't know. Well, I'm assuming this feud is going to continue. This is going to eventually lead to a one-on-one match between Asuka and Io. What's going to happen on Raw? I'm assuming Asuka is going to abuse Kyrie some more. Then Asuka is probably going to sneak attack Rhea Ripley or Io Sky to continue this rivalry, in my opinion. But overall, this was a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. Now we get the main event, Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. This match was I would say it was a great match, but it was a bit disappointing, I will say. I feel like it was a bit slow paced in my opinion, and I felt like they was telling too much of the story of Seth Rollins being this guy who was constantly in over his head, constantly having Cody in his head of him being 3-0. I understand why they told that, but I feel like they did a bit too much in this match. But there was moments in this match where Seth Rollins is hesitating whether or not he actually beat Cody. It was a moment where he ends up grabbing the crown jewel ring and thought about using it, but decides not to use it, only for later on in the match to use the ring to knock out Cody, to end up hitting 2 curb stomps to pick up the victory. I like what they did here. I just feel like the match was a bit slow for my liking, but Seth Rollins wins. He finally got that win over Cody. What's next? Of course, it's going to lead to War Games. I don't see Cody Rhodes going after Seth Rollins after this. I just don't want to see it again, especially because I want Cody to focus on his own championship that he hasn't been really defending for the most part since he's returned. So I hope we could focus on that and get some storage with that. But SmackDown is so dead and so dry that I don't know what he could possibly do unless we're going to run Drew McIntyre again, which we know he's going to lose, and then Randy Orton, who they keep teasing for the 2 millionth time. So we'll see what happens there. Seth Rollins, War Games, build up War Games. Then they're going to face the babyface crew to finally put themselves over at the #1 group to lead the future, but they're probably going to lose at War Games. Overall, this was a great show. This was a great show. Great bounce back show from after WrestlePalooza. You guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions of the overall show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But yeah, that's it.